thrilled to invite you to our event featuring land and sea, and really an approach that's all about the best of all-inclusive travel by land and sea. We've got three tremendous partners here with us today. Club Med, Princess, and Seabourn Cruise Lines are with us today. And today we're going to talk about how you can have a truly all-inclusive experience on both land and sea. Before we get started, there is, however, just a little housekeeping that we like to do to make sure everyone has a good experience in the Zoom environment. Hopefully you're all getting it figured out at this point, but we know that a few tips can help make it easier on you. The simplest and quickest way to resolve an issue, typically we find if you are having trouble with Zoom, or it's maybe not loading correctly or seems a little slow, simply log out and log back in. Very often that'll right things and correct what's going on. Next tip is that you can actually adjust your view. If you look at the top of the screen there's a little browser, and it'll actually allow you to adjust the size of your screen, which may be nice if you'd rather see the pictures of the beautiful travel imagery rather than those of us that are presenting. So feel free to adjust your view to make it the most comfortable it can be for you. Our third tip is coming up. There it is. And it's probably one of the most important tips. We are here to help. We have a lot of information to share with you today, and we know that as travel resumes and the world starts moving again, you're going to have questions. So we have experts standing by from all our partners and our team to answer your questions. So you'll see a little Q&A box down there in the bottom. Feel free to drop your questions in, and we'll make every attempt to get them answered. And always remember that if you don't get the information you need here, your professional Expedia Cruises vacation consultant is here to help, and certainly on standby to answer your questions as well. And with that, I think we have one more tip for you, and that is that this event is recorded. So if you like it, certainly reach out to your vacation consultant as well, and we'll get you a recording. And hey, if you really like it, we'd be thrilled if you shared it with a friend and invited them to come along on the trip that you might be planning here with us today. All right, so let's get started. And just before we get to our presenters to tell us about inclusive land and sea vacations, I wanted to tell you a little bit about our brand. My name's John Mast. I lead marketing for Expedia Cruises and the Expedia Group for the cruise line of business globally. And during this downturn in our business, we've really taken a step back and looked at our brands and decided to focus on coming out of this better. And one of the big changes we made at Expedia Cruises is that we changed our name from Expedia Cruise Ship Centers to Expedia Cruises. But in front of you today, you have our brand promise. And our brand promise has not changed. We are still your trusted source for all things cruise and truly all things leisure travel. We're a full service leisure travel agency that specializes in service. We have exceptional value and prices. We can bring you all the vacations you're dreaming of, and we really are always there for you when you need us. And it goes a little deeper than that. You know, in the modern day, travel began in retail, and it's evolved onto the internet over the years. And we really are that 360 service provider for you. Our specialists can serve you whatever makes you the most comfortable, over the phone, in person. We're actually starting to take appointments again in many of our stores, and we're excited about that. But wherever and however you choose to be served, we will ensure that you get top service and get your questions answered as you're planning your vacation. And further to that, a friendly reminder, you know, in these tough times, small businesses become really important. And I think we've all come to value our local businesses. Expedia Cruises really are local businesses in your communities right across North America. And our franchise partners, these are business owners in your community, want to help, and they're there to help. They're out there being part of the community. So we really hope that over the course of doing business with them, that you take a moment to get to know them, pop in, say hello. They love having visits. And as the world opens up, I think they're going to be even more excited about that. And an important thing to remember about dealing with a local expert is that they sell travel out of your region on a regular basis. So if you happen to live in Seattle, Washington, and you go into our store there and you're looking for a trip to Europe, you have to realize that our experts know how to get to Europe from Seattle better than anyone. They do it all day long, and they can get you onto a cruise or onto a resort or whatever it is your heart's desire as the world opens up again. So with that, I think it's onto the show and onto the experts. Today, we're here to speak about all-inclusive travel by land and sea. And I think the theme is quite on point for what's happening with the evolution of cruising in the modern day. The idea of an all-inclusive land resort is quite familiar to most, and I think people understand it and they've heard about it, but there's a trend occurring, and in the cruise business, we're seeing more and more of our partners bring together the very best of what a guest wants on board and making it part of the price up front when they purchase, so that while they're on board, they can have a seamless experience with less to be concerned about as they're enjoying their vacation. And I was, just before things slowed down, actually on a trip like this and sitting with some friends, and we were drinking some wine, and one of them remarked that the staff on board this particular ship were like wine ninjas. He said, you never saw them come, you never saw them go, but anytime you look down, your glass was just about half full. And that's a lovely, lovely experience along the way. But what's also nice is at the end of your get together with your friends, you simply get up, thank the servers, and off you go. There's no bill, as it's all part of the package price. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our partners and our presenters today, the experts who are joining us from both land and sea to tell us what it's like to experience their product in an all-inclusive nature. Across the screen, we have Christopher O'Connor, the National Account Manager for Club Med. We have Steve Smatries, and I always butcher that a little bit, so pardon me, Steve. He's our Vice President of Global Sales and Trade Relations for Seabourn Cruise Line. And an old friend of ours, John Chernesky, he's not that old, but you know, he likes to make jokes, so maybe that was a joke. We'll see. He'll probably come back after me later in the show. The Senior Vice President of North American Sales and Trade Marketing for Princess Cruises. So our first presenter today is going to be Christopher. Christopher, welcome to Expedia Cruises. Welcome, and please, I'll pass it over to you now to tell us all about Club Med, and it looks like how we're going to be amazed. So over to you, Christopher.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. And, you know, we share the same sentiments here at Club Med. We are very excited to see traveling opening up again. And, you know, as a Club Med product that is, you know, 70% of our portfolio and our product is catered to families. We're really excited to get families, couples, singles out traveling again into the all-inclusive marketplace and into Club Med's. As we approach, you know, over 75 destinations around the world. So as an all-inclusive product, having destinations all across the world, all across the map, we're excited to share some quick Club Med updates with you all today. One thing you can always bank on with Club Med is having that peace of mind before you depart on your vacation, of just having all of your food and beverage costs taken care of up front. And with that all-inclusive piece there, you're gonna get sports and activities at a high level at all of our resorts. We'll take care of your flights and transfers. You have your nightly entertainment, your entertainment during the day via Zumba classes, salsa classes and lessons, get yourself into a tennis lesson, a golf lesson and things like that. So highly interactive, highly active resorts all around the world in some of the best locations. And one thing that we always want to say too is just because you're booking an all-inclusive vacation at a specific resort doesn't mean you're tied to the resort. We definitely want to get you out and about exploring the areas, whether or not you want to play golf at a nearby world-class golf resort or golf course. You want to go on a wine tasting tour in a nearby region, indulge in some of the spa packages that we have at all of our resorts, or take an excursion out to a nearby town or village, coastal seaside town, whether or not you're in Mexico and you want to get down to Chichen Itza. Every one of our resorts offers a wide variety of excursions for you as well. One thing that you know, Club Med stands by, and it's one of our pillars, is going to be our kids clubs. So kids ages 4 to 17 years old have excellent kids clubs that are included in the stay. So at no extra cost, We break it down so the age groups, every kid that comes to Club Med gets to stay with kids that their age. We divide it up from 4 to 5 years, 6 to 8, 9 and 10. And then we have something for kids from 11 to 17 as well that we call Pass World. So something for all groups, all ages. Throughout the day, they have a range of activities throughout the resort. And that's something I'll talk about here in the next couple of slides. Just the amount of space and opportunity there is to explore around Club Med resorts. And with that, you know, Club Med, as we expand throughout the world, right in your backyard in the Caribbean and Mexico, we really want to focus in on our top destinations. Club Med's flagship resorts and destinations are going to be our brand new resort in the Dominican Republic, Miches Playa Esmeralda. And as always, top selling resort in the Dominican, Punta Cana. Our only adults only resort in the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos. I just hosted some clients there. It's great to see that resort up and running and one of the best beaches, #1 beaches in the world in Grace Bay. We have our all-inclusive resort right here in the United States, north of Fort Lauderdale and Sandpiper, and Mexico and La Caravelle as well. One thing that makes Club Med a unique offering is we do not build up in large scale resorts. We call our resorts villages, and as our clients and as you go to the Club Med, you'll really start to feel that we don't build up. So all of our rooms, restaurants, everything is open air, nothing higher than the tallest palm tree in the area. So it really creates a beautiful landscape to explore. We have beautiful areas to sit in a hammock, tons of walkable beaches. So you never feel like you're confined or condensed to a large, big building that's plonked on the beach. We have a wide range of activities that are spread out through a resort as well. So it really has a village type feel. And as you get to explore Club Med and get yourselves there, you'll definitely understand why we call it a village. One thing that Club Med, continues to expand on is our luxury premier space that we call our Club Med exclusive collection. And what that's going to be, that's going to include anything from overwater bungalows and villas in the Maldives that we have. It's going to include ski chalets in France, in our premium ski resorts. And we also have exclusive collection resorts like our brand new resort, Miches Playa Esmeralda. We have the Club Med cruise ship called the Club Med 2. And we have a select group of resorts that have exclusive collection spaces. And what those are spaces within the resort that are your private haven, that are exclusive services within that resort. And a prime example of that would be Jade in Cancun. One thing unique to our brand and unique to the industry is the concept that Club Med offers is Club Med ski, all-inclusive ski experiences. And with that, we're very excited to announce Club Med Charlevoix, opening up a brand new all-inclusive ski resort in Canada, about 45 minutes north of Quebec. So with an all-inclusive ski vacation, that includes all your meals and all your drinks, your lift tickets to the domain, lessons for all levels. So beginner, intermediate, advanced. If you're an intermediate skier or snowboarder and you want to take your skiing up to the next level, you can take free lessons anytime during the duration of your stay. One thing we really want to highlight about Quebec Charlevoix is the beauty of the destination. Having an all-inclusive resort that is going to be open year-round. Don't think of it in terms of just for your clients that like to ski and snowboard. This is going to be a premier year-round all-inclusive destination with an absolutely stunning area around it. And we really want your clients to have an absolutely amazing experience in a unique destination right on the St. Lawrence River, just outside of Quebec and Montreal. Like I said, this is going to be an absolutely stunning destination, a year-round resort with 302 rooms located right on the St. Lawrence River. So this is part, again, of Club Med's exclusive collection space, and it's the first and only Club Med ski resort, not the first Club Med, but the only Club Med ski resort in North America starting off in Quebec, Charlevoix. So we're very excited about this one. Again, a year-round resort with tons of activities. And one thing that we always want to know in these times is that you want to be able to book with peace of mind too. So guests traveling through December 31st, 2022 will be covered for their medical expenses through our emergency assistance programs, including those related to COVID-19. So we have some great insurance there through December 2022. So continue to book those trips into next year as well. And we also have free antigen testing at our resorts right now, and some of the top hygiene measures in the industry as well. And we also want you to be able to cancel for free with total peace of mind. And we have great policies in place for that. If you happen to cancel for COVID reasons or any other reasons related to any type of hindrances in your travel. But as we see things open up, the resorts are working closely with you to make sure you can get to the resorts and enjoy a great vacation, and then get back and have some great memories and great photos of the destination as well. And thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to who's next.
Thanks very much, Christopher. That's super interesting and really intriguing. I honestly did not know that you could do all-inclusive ski, and that has me inspired along with that beautiful beach. Thank you very much, and we'll look forward to talking to you in the Q&A at the end. Next up is our friend Steve from Seabourn, here to tell us about a luxury line and all-inclusivity and sailing the world. Steve, I don't know if that's your Tesla cruise ship there behind you or what you have, but we're excited to hear from you. And with that, I'll just simply pass it right over to you and let you get started.
Great, thanks so much, John, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to share a little bit about Seabourn, the finest ultra luxury resorts at sea. And we are so excited to get back into the water very, very soon, we're hoping. And so let's go to the next slide, please. And I thought I'd start with really kind of sharing a little bit about our fleet. We have actually the youngest luxury fleet in the industry. Our oldest ship was built back in 2009. So as you can see up there, our fleet consists of 5 ocean ships, all of which are very, very similar in design. They range between 229 and 300 suites, and 95% of those suites have ocean front verandas. And then in a few minutes, I'm going to share a little bit of a sneak preview of our brand new expedition ships that are going to be joining our fleet very soon. So let's go to the next slide, please. So what is it about Seabourn that sets it apart from other all-inclusive luxury experiences? It's really what we call the Seabourn differences, which are made up of Seabourn moments. And now I'm not going to go through this list and mention every single item. I'll let you kind of take that in. But what I really believe makes Seabourn special and really embodies all of these differentiators is the crew and how they deliver service. And I think I can best sum this up by quickly sharing a personal experience on board. So I sailed on Seabourn on the Encore a few years back, and before I joined the Seabourn team. And when I got back, I shared with friends and family that it was by far the best luxury experience I had ever had. And so of course, then you get the question, well, what made it the best? Now, without a doubt, the ships are beautiful, and we were on this fantastic Mediterranean itinerary. What really resonated with me was the incredible crew. Not only was the service high touch and intuitive, but it truly felt authentic and personal. It's that feeling that's always stuck with me, and one of the reasons I was really excited to join the team. And now when I talk to the staff on board, that authenticity and that passion for delivering unforgettable experiences really shines through, and you can tell that it really comes from the heart. So I think we're going to show a quick video to give you a little flavor of what that's like. It seems like it's the PowerPoint wants to go to the video very, very badly. So let's go to the video. Okay, so I hope you really enjoyed that. I think that gives a nice overview of and a feel for what it's like on board. Now, we really sail all over the world, as you can see from this slide, from 7-day getaways to 145-night full world cruises. And what is really, I think, fantastic about the Seabourn itineraries is not only do we visit larger iconic ports, but we also go to smaller off the beaten path ports. And due to the size of our ships, we can get into a lot of smaller ports that some ships can't get into. So our itineraries are very, very special, and the care that goes into selecting ports that are really special is fantastic. So let's go to the next slide, please. And so I want to shift gears a little bit, and as I teased, I want to talk a little bit about our brand new expedition ships. So our very first one, we've got 2 of these ships coming. The first one is planned to arrive this December. Now, these ships will be the finest luxury expedition ships in the world. Now, they're designed to be distinctly seaborne and luxurious. They will also be the most cutting-edge expedition experiences at sea. And of course, we will have a world-class and very experienced expedition team that's going to deliver fully immersive experiences. Next slide, please. And let's go to one more clip. There we go. Now, these ships visit really incredible destinations that are hard to get to, like the Arctic and Greenland, Antarctica, and the Amazon. So really incredible destinations that you're not going to get to visit every day. Next slide, please. Now, I just wanted to share a few images of the ship that are really, truly spectacular. Now, the ship has 2 6-person submarines offering very unique and unforgettable undersea experiences. And you can just imagine going 1,000 feet underwater in Antarctica. It is really kind of the ultimate bragging experience. So that you can see they've got these spheres, and what I'm told is you can't tell where the water and the sphere where it begins and ends. So it's like you're actually underwater. So really incredible experience. Now, this isn't available on every single itinerary, but a number of them, but we have countless other expedition experiences for all of our guests. Just to share some of the other renderings that we have. Now, the ship was designed by world-renowned designer Adam Tahani, who has designed luxurious restaurants and hotels throughout the world. And really, you can kind of compare it to a luxury ski lodge in design and feel, as you can see from this image. Let's go to the next slide, please. It is really a fully immersive experience on board. We even have an open bridge policy at the discretion of the captain where guests can come up on board, and fantastic lectures by our expedition crew in our theater here. Next slide, please. Beautiful restaurants and lounges throughout with fantastic accommodations. Next slide. And of course, a world class wellness program. I mean, can you imagine sitting here in your sauna and you're looking out to the wildlife outside, floor to ceiling windows throughout the ship. And we're just really, really excited to have these ships join our fleet in the very near future. And one more slide. And finally, I wanted to close the presentation and tell you all about that. Aside from our all-inclusive experience on board, we have an exclusive amenity through Expedia Cruises with up to $150 per person shipboard credit. So that's a very special offer only through Expedia. And with that, on behalf of the whole Seabourn family, I want to thank you all for your time today and look forward to welcoming you all on board.
Thank you so much, Steve. It all looks honestly sumptuous. It just looks fantastic. And I think the imagery, the food, it looks incredible. And I can't wait to hear about guests getting to experience those ships. And again, the beauty of it from stem to stern, from on and off, it's predominantly all included, and you just get to get on board and have a seamless adventure in what look like some truly incredible places. So thanks for that, and we'll look forward to talking to you at our Q&A. Our next presenter is John Chernesky from Princess. We've worked together for many years. John's a phenomenal presenter. In terms of all-inclusive, you may not think of cruising this way, or you may not have, but I think it was mid to late 2019 when Princess began to play with this concept, and everything that we know is that our guests love it. So I'll pass it over to John now to tell us what's happening with Princess and how you can have an all-inclusive, exclusive experience with Princess Cruises.
Thank you so much, John. Hi, everybody. Exclusive, inclusive, I am with you. It is my pleasure to be here, and I have had the pleasure actually of working for Princess for over 28 years. Dropped right out of first grade, and here I am. Pictures of me and my family when we were on board Sky Princess over the holidays a couple years ago. So all of us are looking forward to our next trip, and research has validated the fact that anticipating a trip, actually you derive more happiness looking forward to a trip than you do the trip itself. And part of that has to do with, usually you book a trip and there's many months in between, and every time you think about that trip, your body releases some endorphins of happiness, which as you're thinking about that, hopefully that Princess cruise, you're gonna get excited. But clearly there are some expectations about what is cruising going to be like. And so at Princess, we have introduced our Cruise with Confidence program, and want to touch briefly upon those. We've got three main elements of it. There's book with confidence, which means if you book by the end of April, you're going to be protected if you need to make a change at the last minute. So up to 30 days prior, even if you've made final payment, we're going to make sure your money goes into a future cruise credit. You're not going to lose it. There's going to be no cancel fees. And that is for voyages through the end of October of this year. Then on board, we have what we call the Princess Promise, where our crew have always done a great job, but this is their way to formalize that and make sure your situation is resolved, whatever that issue might be, because we want you happy and we want you coming back. And then finally, our Princess Vacation Protection, which a lot of people think of as travel insurance. Highly recommend in today's day and age that you're looking at some sort of travel protection. And at Princess, our policy allows coverage no matter what your age is. There's no age discrimination, and COVID is covered. And so it's something I would definitely highly recommend. Over the last few years, we've been introducing what we call medallion class. You can see possibly my little medallion I'm wearing here. And this is a game changer in terms of the technology and how cruises are experienced. But it's really about protecting the most valuable asset we all have when we're on vacation, which is time. Because it's about giving you more time back to truly enjoy your vacation and take away some of the obstacles or friction points, if you will. And I want to talk about the 6 main elements of medallion class and what those are. And they're really all about making things easy for you. So you board your ship, you board the ship faster than ever. You get to your stateroom, it unlocks automatically for you because it recognizes it you, which a lot of people think, how hard is it to take out your key card? Trust me, once you do it, you'll never want to go back. It is a game changer. Finding your way around the ship, finding people in your travel party. Where are my 14-year-old boys? Where, are they where they said they would be? Probably not, but I can know where they are at all times. Playing games, gambling in the casino without actually stepping foot in the casino. You can do that because of medallion class. Best Wi-Fi at sea. Kim, I think you're off mute. You might want to go on mute. The best Wi-Fi at sea, because of MedallionNet, you can literally stream Netflix and have anything you want delivered no matter where you are. So I'm lazy. I want to stay in the lounge chair and read a book or watch movies under the stars, push a button, and that bucket of beers and the pizza is going to be delivered right to me. Even if you move locations, because of medallion class, our servers will find you. Now, I like to say that this is all great, and this was pre-COVID, but during the COVID period, our team has not been resting, because trust me, there is more coming. I love this slide, but wait, there's more. Hopefully you all get the infomercial joke. There's some elements that we never expected medallion class to help service when it comes to our return to service. And a few of them are listed here. And by the way, all of our ships will be medallion class. So no guessing about which ship has it and which doesn't. All of them, when we come back, will have it. It's about getting on board faster than ever in a touchless environment. So you don't have to touch anything once you get to the terminal. The guest training is so simplified. No more sitting in the lounge for 45 minutes while you hear a speech given. You check in on your phone and your stateroom TV, go to the lounge, check in there, and it's done in 2 minutes, and you're off and running, enjoying your vacation. The health questionnaire, virtual check-ins through the app. Touchless payments have always been part of it, and we got some news that's coming there to enhance even that. And what we call an event attendance indicator. So when you register to go, you say, I want to go to either having a dinner and drinks before your meal, or you want to go to a show, you can actually see how many people are registered for it. If you're trying to stay away from larger groups of people, you have that ability. So that's all pretty amazing, and we're very excited for it. So look out for Medallion Class if you haven't experienced it. It is a game changer. Now at Princess, in the premium space, we consider ourselves the destination leader. Steve at Seabourn, if you're in the luxury market, it is an amazing brand. Kudos to everything they deliver there. At Princess, we are the destination leader because we go everywhere. We are touching every continent. We're doing world cruises. And I know all of you are just dying to see my family photos from the trips I've taken over the years rather than showing you some marketing images. So let's quickly run through some of the places I've been able to go with my family because it's a little bit of storytelling. First is Hawaii. We did a round trip out of LA, 14 days, got to see all the major islands, great time at sea. It's a wonderful balance. Next up was the California coast, where we got to, even though we live in California, have for almost 30 years, you never really do the touristy things. It was a wonderful way to kind of get away from it all and see the beauty of California. Next up, we then have Caribbean, of course. This is Southern Caribbean, some GoPro pictures of me and my family having fun in the water in Curacao and Bonaire. In the top right, I'm kissing the mouth of a sea cucumber at Princess Keys, our private island. But unfortunately, only marine biologists can tell whether it's the mouth or the butt, but I think I guessed correctly. Moving right along. We then, of course, have wonderful Japan, one of my absolute favorite places on earth. We did this in 2019. It's a great value for visiting what is a very expensive country, and we just had a wonderful time, and options are there for 22, so please check it out. And then back to the Caribbean, we did this in December of 2019, Western Caribbean on the beautiful Sky Princess. Steve showed a picture of a sloth in his. There's me in the top right with a sloth I met at a sloth sanctuary, one of the highlight moments of our Christmas cruise. And then who can forget, when you're talking about Princess, you think Alaska. And so it was a pleasure to go there for my mom's 70th birthday a few years ago, and all the things to see in Alaska. So let's talk about Alaska while we're on that subject. And at Princess, we are known as the #1 cruise line for Alaska. It's not a ranking we make up. It's because we carry more people there than anyone. We've won some awards in Travel Weekly 14 times in a row. And an internal survey that's done every year of the travel advisor community, Princess is the #1 recommended brand for the last 19 years. We don't like to rest on our laurels, though. It's all about investing in the future. And if you're talking about going to Alaska, you have to talk with your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant about a cruise tour. It is the ultimate way to experience Alaska. And at Princess, we have an exclusive experience, which is called Direct to the Wilderness. You get off the ship in Whittier, you walk across the parking lot, get onto this beautiful train. So cars that we own, luxury experience, so the dome, the glass domes, some outdoor viewing platforms, and you transform yourself same day you're into the park, into Denali. No planes, trains, and automobiles getting connected overnight. You're there the same day with us. And at Princess, we own and operate 5 of our lodges, which you can see here. And we are so excited to introduce them for next season in 2022. So if you haven't taken advantage of that. But again, if you're thinking Alaska, you really do need to talk about an Alaska cruise tour with your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant. With that, I want to end by talking about, we're talking about all-inclusive. John alluded to it. We didn't have this a couple years ago, but we introduced it at the end of 2019. And what we called then the best sale ever became Princess Plus, which is always available. But during this period, we've actually enhanced it by adding even more elements. And so why is it inclusive? Well, it includes a premier beverage package with tips for all the drinks that are delivered. And even if you don't drink alcohol, trust me, the value is there for the bottled waters, premium coffees, etc. Unlimited Wi-Fi, gratuities paid to the crew. And now as part of Best Sale Ever, we're adding in a stateroom location upgrade, as well as dining in one of our specialty dining restaurants for one night of the trip. It's on all cruises and cruise tours, every stateroom, every destination. It expires at the end of this month. At the end of this month, we're going to go back to Princess Plus, which is still a great value, but it's not as rich and valuable as the Best Sale Ever. And so with that, I think we've had great success. People seem to love it. I tell all my friends and family when they book, make sure you book under best sale ever. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out. So with that, I thank you. And let's take some questions.
Fantastic. Thanks, John. And we'll invite Steve and Christopher back, and we'll have a little bit of a fireside chat. It's just phenomenal to hear about all the product and just to sit back and watch all the beautiful travel images go by and remember what it's like to be out there in the world. And before we get going on the Q&A, I was just going to point out that if you're on this call as a consumer thinking about a trip, I think you're in the right place at the right time. I think every one of our suppliers here with us can attest to the fact that we are seeing a significant increase in demand and strong bookings and searches for 22, 23, and even recently Q4 and earlier, as the world begins to get their vaccinations and believes that the world, and we can feel it around us, is starting to loosen up and start moving. So with that, it's a nice segue to, as we all imagine traveling again soon, it's going to look a little different up in the short run. We're sure of that. And what we don't know is exactly what that might look like. And we're hoping that all three of you can give us a sense. This is the question of, what do consumers need to be thinking about or prepared for before they come on their trip in the early days of traveling? And Christopher, maybe I'll start with you and open up that question.
Yeah, one of the first things we want to think about is just, stay current and up to date on any, current travel policies that are being changed, for the US and for Canada and across different borders. So make sure you're completely up to date with that. If you're traveling to a Club Med destination and you'd like to take part in some excursions and go off site, double check with the destination on what excursions are currently up and running and what precautions they are taking and what other restrictions they might have with that. So you want to make sure that you're doing your extra bit of homework and research on the destination, what type of excursions are going on, and just be a well-informed traveler at this time.
Fantastic, thanks. And I think it's fair. I think it'll be a little different everywhere you go. But what I was talking to someone about it recently, and I said, we're all very accustomed now to traveling up to the grocery store with a mask. I have some sanitizer in my car. I come and go. It's become daily practice for many of us. And I think we'll need to bring those habits on the road with us, certainly in the early days and perhaps for a very long time in terms of hand sanitizer anyway. Steve, how would you answer that question? As people are preparing for a Seabourn cruise, what should they be thinking about in the early days of travel?
Yeah, and I think John made a good point in his presentation that travel insurance is going to become more important than it ever has before. That's something that should be mandatory for everyone going forward, pandemic or not. So you never, depending on where you are in the world, it's always good to have that response, that protection for you. John and I are both in the same cruise family, so a lot of the things that we're doing from a safety standpoint are being done from a corporate level, which is really great that we can kind of utilize the size of our corporation. And kind of across the whole family of brands that we have, our highest responsibility and really top priorities are compliance, environmental protection, and the health, safety, and well-being of our guests, the people in the communities we touch and serve, and our shipboard and shoreside employees. And that really is kind of the core value. I think that kind of drives everything that we're doing. So, we really want to educate guests extremely well as our travel consultants that we all work with. And, we really want them to be educated so that they are prepared before their vacation.
Yeah, it's a great point. I know within our own organization, we're working extremely hard to gather all our suppliers' top tips and information so that when our vacation consultants are working with travelers, that they're informing them to the very best degree that we can in lockstep with our partners. So people arrive prepared and not surprised by their adventures and what they experience. John, what can you tell us about preparing for a Princess cruise today and how it might be a little bit different from what people have experienced in the past?
Yeah, I would say, we're very lucky to be in an industry where there's such demand for our product, regardless of how tough this past year has been. And I think having people that are enthusiastic, it's so great to see so many people who've connected here tonight to learn about some opportunities just to travel. I know we're all anxious to get out there. I think going into this with a flexible mindset, that because things are ripe for change, if you're used to it in the old ways of how everything was done, a good chunk of that might still be the same, but a lot of it might change, and some for the better. I mean, I mentioned about the safety drill. Gone are the days of wasting an hour focused on that. You're going to get it done in a matter of minutes. And so we're actually very excited about the efficiencies we're introducing. Will things change in the buffet? Yeah, absolutely. Do we have that lockdown right now? No, we're still working on what those guidelines are going to be once we hear back from the CDC. So I would just say be flexible, get some travel insurance like Steve mentioned, and get ready to have some fun, because I think our crew cannot wait to welcome people back on board. And your vacation consultant Expedia is the best expert on understanding all the different policies that are out there, because it is confusing, and they'll make sure you get it right.
Fantastic advice. And I think on the insurance, we're definitely seeing that trending in terms of our organization. And I think you're right about another thing. I personally flew over the holidays, and it was very quiet at that time. And what I experienced was quite interesting. A whole level of improved kindness and gratitude, literally from the gate agent at the airport all the way through to the resort. People are so grateful to see people coming back in to their worlds and able to spend money in their economies and help them, because people need the support, especially in many of these tourism destinations. And it's important that we get back out there and do it in a safe manner, safe for the communities we visit, and safe for the people on the ships and in the resorts. John, I'll stick with you, and then we'll go back the other direction just to keep life interesting. The next question is about on board, and you definitely addressed it. I've experienced medallion class myself. It was sensational when it was about all the interesting conveniences, and I 100% concur on the door. I had low expectations on my door opening automatically, and it became one of my favorite things. It's not unlike your car. When you get used to it opening without a key, then one day you end up with a key and you're like, where does this go? It's phenomenal. So how can cruisers, and you've touched on it, but maybe give us a little more detail if you have any on what can they expect in terms of differences on board when they're traveling in the future?
Yeah, I think some of it is evolving, but some of it is very clear now for us at Princess in terms of medallion class and how it's going to change the experience. And it's not meant to put a buffer between you and our great crew through technology. It's meant to actually give them greater tools for enhanced service, so they can know more about you, give you personalized service, know that it's your birthday, or it's your 10th cruise with us, or whatever it might be, or know that once you've made that gin and tonic order and you like 2 limes, not 1, it's going to come that way the next time. And so you're going to feel special. And just like the door opening example, which again, at first I thought was kind of ridiculous, and now I feel like a king walking up to my own castle every time it's there. And my kids loved it. It's like they kept walking up just because they felt special too. But so much of it is really unknown right now in terms of the actual protocols we will be adhering to. But I will say, the cruise industry gets a bad rap in terms of health and safety. And I would say we're arguably the healthiest and safest place you can be, because we live by very strict reporting to the CDC. People think cruising is where you get norovirus. The reality is, because we report norovirus, but land hotels or restaurants don't have to, you're 750 times more likely in the US to get norovirus at a land place than you are on board. And it's just the nature of reporting. And so we do everything we can across the industry, not one brand being healthier or safer than another. And like Steve said, we're going to work together and make sure our protocols are clear, so that we can educate all of the great vacation consultants at Expedia, so they can walk you through what that experience is going to be like.
That's just fantastic, and thanks. And Steve, listening to John, you would be doing many of the same things. Is there anything you can think of that you're doing specifically at Seabourn that's different than people can expect? Oh, Steve, you're muted. Sorry, buddy, they muted you. It had to happen at least once on the call.
I think we all do that once a day, right? Forget to hit the mute button. So yeah, it's all evolving, right? Again, our whole family of brands is going through this constantly every single day, and reviewing and talking to the CDC and finding out what the requirements are. And we're really kind of preparing so that we can pivot and make the necessary adjustments when we know what it is. And I'm sure from the time we start sailing until And then 6 months after that, it could be completely different. But, you know, we're looking at things right now like requiring reservations for restaurants so that we can properly space people out and have some social distancing of some sort, mask wearing, things like that. But again, the vaccine is accelerating. You know, we're gaining momentum there. And so, you know, that might be in the beginning, but then, you know, maybe it won't be as much of a requirement down the road. So, you know, again, I think it's, again, we have to just keep listening to the science and staying in touch with all the health experts and the CDC and the various equivalent organizations around the world. And we're going to make sure that safety is number one.
Fantastic. And I think you make a great point. You know, over the evolution of the environment we're in, we've seen things shift from the idea of perhaps traveling with COVID to the gift of the vaccine arriving and our ability to kind of leap past what might have been a fairly different travel experience. And I think as things are progressing so rapidly, we can all look very soon. If you're booking something into 22 or 23, I think you'll find an experience that is easily as welcoming and open and good as it ever was, and probably better based on all the improvements that the industries are making to make life safe. So we sure look forward to that. All right, Mr. Christopher, you are unmuted, which is excellent. And you represent the land resort side of our business. And I think you are in many cases open already and doing things. So we'd love to hear what the guest experience is like at a Club Med resort today, and how you've evolved the experience for safety.
Yeah, you know, first of all, we've been open. We've had Sandpiper in Florida open since June of last year. We've had Cancun going, Turks and Caicos. And the first thing, you know, in terms of the experience is at the resort level, people are very excited to be traveling again and arriving at these destinations. So, you know, especially in the winter months and right now, it's a great time to be booking a Club Med land destination trip right now. And one thing that, you know, Club Med did really well and we put together, we wanted that peace of mind of once the U.S. announced that we had to have a negative test to return to the United States, across all of our resorts, the main focus was making sure you had that peace of mind and that we could walk you through that process of getting that free antigen test. So upon checking at a Club Med resort, we'll help you fill out the paperwork, we'll schedule your free antigen test. So you don't have to worry about that. We schedule that at the resort. Every one of our resorts has a nurse and a doctor on site as well. And we really want you to get out and travel and then really start enjoying life and traveling again. So seamless at the resort, at the Club Med resort level. And I think industry-wide on the land side, it's been, you know, over a 99% negative test return rate. So good news for travel. And yeah, excited to see more people out there traveling.
Thank you for that. And I think you make a great point. I think there's a lot of testing still required at different points of entry to different countries. So it's very possible that the early adopters, those people getting out there first, are going to need to go through testing to move around. And I had to do that when I was moving around. And I have to say, sitting at the gate, waiting for the plane, knowing that the 200 people I was about to jump on a jet with had all tested negative in the last 24, 48 hours, I was like, this is probably safer than going to my grocery store. And it just made me actually relax and go, and they did a great job on board and all the way through.
John, if I can say, like, I think all three of our experiences, we're able to create a really controlled environment where if you are doing before, you kind of create your own bubble by doing that. So, you know, I think, you know, and I think John mentioned earlier that cruising has always gotten a little bit of a bad rap, but I think any place where you can, you know, including Club Med, where you can create that controlled environment, it's very, very safe. It's about as safe as you could ask for and create a vacation experience.
Yeah, thanks for that, Stephen. I agree. We use the paradigm of, you know, there's one door in, one door out, and that door can be managed, and the people can be treated with all kinds of wonderful kindness and made to feel safe along the way. All right, I have one question left for each of you, and it's the same question. So here it comes. We'll go backwards in the same direction, back to you, Christopher, and I'll ask you, what's your best travel tip once we all start to travel again? What's your #1 tip for travelers as they head out into the world?
First off, you know, make sure you pack your sunscreen and your toothbrush. And secondly, we want you to, and like John mentioned, one of the biggest things is, the anticipation that travel brings, being one of the most exciting times in travel. The best tip I have is share the right information and go in as an informed traveler and be responsible out there. And make sure that you're following the protocols going in and out, and that at the end of the day, we want to keep this moving forward and just be a responsible, well-informed traveler.
I like that. We all have a place. We all have a part to play
Right.
in the restart. Steve, what can you recommend to travelers to think about as they head out onto the road in the coming days and months?
If you don't already have one, and I would think you have one if you're here, you should have a travel consultant, because a travel consultant is invaluable to making sure that you have the best experience for the money that you're spending. It's so important. And really, I think treat travel like you would as a financial planning your life, because you should have short-term vacation goals and you should have long-term, and your travel consultant can help you plan that out accordingly based on budgets and things like that. So can't say enough about how important that is.
You're preaching to the converted here at Expedia Cruises. We love to help people plan vacations. And when people ask me why should I use a vacation consultant or a travel agent, I always respond to say, you can absolutely do it on your own. But I'll personally guarantee you that if you work through one of our people, they will ask you questions that make you think differently, and the end result trip you will have will not cost you a penny more, and it will be many magnitudes better, because you got advice from people that know the world, they know the destinations, and they have all kinds of tips to share to make your trip just that much more enjoyable. All right, over to you, Mr. Chernesky, to bring us home. A travel tip for the people here today to get them heading out into the world in the coming weeks and months.
Well, I think it's key that you have something booked to, as we talked about, looking forward to. And as you talked about, the demand is there for 22, 23. Princess, we put our world cruise for 2023 on sale not that long ago, and it's our fastest selling world cruise ever. So clearly the demand is there, and I would not wait to book. So assuming you have something booked and you're ready to walk out that door, I think just go in with it with a great open mind and be flexible, and bring your friends. I mean, the power of referrals, bring your friends along. You want to share this journey with them, family or friends. If you don't like your family, don't bring them, bring some friends instead. Have some fun with it and enjoy, and look forward to engaging with our crew members. And I tell you, I said this before, and they are so anxious to provide the great service that they're used to providing. They are bored at home, not being able to do what they're able to do normally. So just engage with them, ask them questions how they've been doing, and have fun with your fellow cruisers.
Fantastic, and I couldn't agree more. You stole my thunder in a little bit of a way, because that's how I plan to take us home. Thoroughly want to thank all three of you for joining us today and spending some time. For some of you, it's the evening, and I guess for all of us, it's the evening now, and sharing your insights into what's happening in the business, and what we can all look forward to as things begin to open up. And I think that critical truth that people, that I talk to, and I'm sure that you talk to too, they like to think that, travel hasn't been happening, there's going to be great deals out there all over the place, I'm going to get a great deal, I'm just going to wait. And my strong and direct advice to them is, do not wait. There is daily improving demand, as John said, and I think others echoed. The bookings for 22 and beyond, and even Q4 and earlier now, are picking up and are strong. And if you want to have a trip in 22, there's a couple of years worth of people getting in line with you to go. And many have credits that they are rolling over from past trips and will be quick to book as things open up. The moment now, however, is there is that exceptional value out there. There are some special offers to attract people to the business, and there's still space. So with the flexibility of really wonderful flexible cancellation and change terms in place, there really is no better time for you to give yourself something to look forward to, and talk to one of our professional vacation consultants and get something on the books. We're here to help. I think that's everything we have for you today. We truly appreciate you spending some time with us, all of you, Christopher, Steve, and John, and every single person that joined the call. On behalf of our nearly 300 franchise partners and owners in the communities across North America, and our over 5,000 professional vacation consultants. Thank you for spending some time with us today. Be safe, and we sure can't wait to get out there and join all of you on a road trip, on a plane trip, on a cruise ship, on a land resort, and something all-inclusive in the very near future. Thanks, everyone, and have a lovely evening.